here, and this is the most important video of the entire year. It's the best comics for 2015.
Yes, it's New Year's Day now, so it's 2016, day one.
So
it's a good time to recap on 2015 and what we really enjoyed, what the comics industry did really well, and also the antitheses of that, of just what they did so terribly wrong.
So many crossovers. Cut it out, DC!
Cut it out!
So I will start. I want to talk about my favourite miniseries of this year. It is by Garth Ennis, okay, and it's called All-Star Section 8. Now this is not my usual comic book. It's not all cutesy la fairyland candy fun times. It's disgusting. It's all about a group of five terrible superheroes, including my favourite six-pack. There's also the Grappler and El Bueno Excelente, Lady Guts. They're all super gross, and all they want is
Dog Welder.
Oh, and Dog Welder! I'm sorry, Dog Welder. It was just really gross and fun. It knew exactly what it wanted to be, which is a gross story about failing superheroes that poop their pants on a regular basis. It's a normal thing for Six-Pack to do. And all they want is a sixth member for their group so they can save the world and become superheroes. So every issue was kind of like they'd have Batman show up or Green Lantern, and they'd all kind of try and talk them into joining their superhero team. And the ending to this was the most epic
So
thing.
epic.
I didn't see it. I thought it was just going to be a big gross explosion or something like that. There's a lot of poo and fart
But it
jokes in
crept
here.
up on you. You read it and you finished it and you're like, oh, what did that mean? And then you reread it and we're like, whoa. Okay. My favourite miniseries of the year.
A bit of controversy.
Caused a lot of controversy. So, Airboy. I absolutely adored this book. This was about a writer and artist who are tasked by Image to kind of reboot Airboy to a modern age, but neither of them are very interested in it, especially the writer. It's the last thing he wants to do. He did an incredible run on as a Starman, and he's always lived in that shadow, and he feels he will never really live up to his own expectations in his head. And so what do? They turn to drugs, alcohol, and promiscuity, and it all goes down the drain from there until Airboy shows up in real life out of nowhere and takes them back into an alternate World War One.
It's a little bit...
No, World War Two.
World War Two. It's a little bit fear and loathing if you enjoy that kind of tale, but also a little bit grounded, because these are real people and they're portraying themselves so terribly in that book.
These are the books that we really wanted to succeed. These were the ones that we were gunning for.
I'm so excited.
We really want them to be good. But these are our biggest disappointments for the year.
If anything, they are the squished brown banana in the sky.
Yeah, they're the moldy banana at the bottom of your locker at the end of the year.
That's what they are.
Okay,
so your biggest disappointment.
My biggest disappointment is, it will come as no surprise to anybody.
Oh, look!
It's DC's big cash in for the year. So I was actually, I'm new to DC, so I've always read indies, and so I read Multiversity, and I enjoyed it for the most part. It was a bit self-indulgent, but this series was my big, okay, I'm going to get all the Convergence comics.
Get up to date.
Yeah, and so if you're unfamiliar with Convergence, it was the idea that
Exactly, okay. No one can explain it.
Brainiac captured little parts of the DC universe all together, threw it into a big arena as moderate by Telos, and just got different sides of the DC universe from all over the timelines to verse each other. There was Batman Nightfall, there was Plastic Man Shazam, and even Greg Rucka writing The Question, and some of those were good, but it was a complete missed opportunity. It lost me.
I said to him, why do we have to get this? And he goes, no, I want to get them all. That's how he talked. I want to get them all. And then he made me spend so much money on them, and they were all poo, except for the Shazam one. I was amped for this. So amped that I purchased every variant cover.
How many variants was that?
Well, of Archie... Oh, that gave it away. The Archie one, I got 21 different variant covers. And for this, I bought all 7. 7 variant covers of Jughead #1, and I was very disappointed. Now, don't get me wrong. Erica Henderson's art is fantastic. She perfectly captures the goofiness of Jughead and how much fun he is. Her art is fantastic. But I didn't like the idea of the comic because they take Jughead into Fantasyland. For me, Jughead is such a grounded character. He's a goofy guy, but he generally is of the moment. He's very chilled out all the time, but every issue he's going into the past because he knocked his head, or in the second issue he's with a dinosaur, and for me that's not what I want from my Jughead comic. I really want a grounded character experiencing everyday life.
So now that that's out of the way, I think we should focus now on the ones that we thought were going to be garbage. The ones that all signs were pointing to them being absolutely atrocious, but they were like the little sluggers of the year. The little
train that could.
Little Jimmy who came out onto the field on one leg and a broomstick and knocked a home run.
For me, the home run was Gem and the Holograms. I thought this was going to be a poop wrapped in tinfoil, if you will. How's that? That's fancy. It was really great. It's written by Sophie Campbell. Whoop! And she took over, the original idea of Gem and made it a bit more modern. I really liked how culturally diverse it was, how everyone was different body shapes and sizes, and also all the characters had side shaves, which on a personal note was so awesome for me, having a side shave and having a Gem kind of, well, it didn't really look like Gem, but she had a side shave, so I'm counting that I kind of look like Gem nowadays. They did a fantastic job of making an empowering comic, an LGBT comic, and just such a wonderful story about friendship, which is one of my favourite subjects in comics.
So, DK3. So
this is the deluxe hardcover first issue. I
think after the Dark Knight 2 was underwhelming. Again, polarizing. I didn't really like it. I'm a huge fan of Dark Knight Returns, but then he lost everybody with Holy Terror. Holy Terror is one of the worst comics, and I can see why
it's
DC
so
were
offensive.
like, you can tell it's meant to be the third part of his series, but DC were like, nah. So this came along, and I won't ruin it for anyone because it's still relatively new, but there are 2 issues out at the moment. The twist at the end of the first issue was fantastic. It's what you want to happen. Batman in a place that we hadn't really seen him before. There was police brutality, and again it had that all those talking heads that's now synonymous with all the Dark Knight series, but it's so dark, it's so superbly written, co-written by Brian Azzarello with the art by Andy Kubert, and also a little mini comic which is written and drawn by Frank Miller himself. It's a class act, it's everything we wanted it to be but never thought we'd get.
Now it's time for the biggest moment of the year, our top 3 comics of the year. We're doing 3 each. It is the Big Banana
in the Sky for 2015.
For the banana. So let us begin with our 3rd place winners.
So this is my first Black Mask ever. So it is Space Riders. This one is about a Peligro. He's a space rider and he flies around in a skull ship called the Santa Muerte. And the reason why I love this book so much is, one, the art is unlike anything. This is a pure comic book. And a lot of books like this, especially when you get into the zone of sci-fi, they get bogged down with exposition and there's this is our lore. So 3rd place for me definitely goes to Space Riders. It's an indie, Black Mask is very indie. You'll need to order it. A lot of comic stores won't have it on the shelves, but make sure you get it. Just order it and hopefully they will continue this. I think it's done as a mini-series at the moment, but with hopes of ongoing.
I'm on the opposite end of the happiness rainbow. A very important book, I think, that everyone should read, especially if you're reaching middle age and your parents are starting to get old. It's a little terrifying. This book is called Displacement. It's a travelogue by Lucy Knisley. Now, Lucy Knisley is one of my favourite comic book writers of all time. I've had the pleasure of meeting her twice, making a fool of myself both times. But this book is absolutely incredible. It is about a trip which she takes her grandparents on, a cruise ship, No one else in her family are willing to do it, so Lucy herself takes her grandparents on this trip. Her grandmother is a little bit senile, her granddad's not quite with it anymore, and there are these moments where her grandmother is wandering around the ship and gets lost and they're terrified. There's moments in there that would be so embarrassing for her family to have out in public, about old age and what it's like to be of that age and care for people once they reach that age. I'm getting teary. Sorry. It was an incredibly depressing book, but an incredible book to read, and I am so thankful that Lucy's family trusts her enough to make such a personal comic. Absolutely amazing book, beautiful watercolor illustrations by Lucy, and definitely my my third favorite book for the year.
Okay, so my second favorite wasn't really a trade or anything. It was a one-off. It was just a single issue, and that is Hank Johnson, Agent of Hydra. So
he made me wait for him while he dug through our 11 single issue boxes just to find this one single issue for you guys.
And I didn't even put it in the right place either. So I was digging around, and Hank Johnson, Agent of Hydra was written by I think David Mandel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
pretty good.
So he was a writer on Seinfeld. He wrote the No Soup for You episode. I'm pretty sure that was him.
I think that's him.
Yeah, and also a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So a lot of those kind of Larry David, George Costanza, like kind of tropes fall into this. And so Hank is literally that guy who, I don't know, he's an everyman. And so him and his family, he's just trying to support his family by working for Hydra.
It was so fun. I thought it was an ongoing series, so I was devastated when Liam told me it was just one single issue.
Petition Marvel to make this ongoing, because it was hilarious. It was probably the most genuinely hilarious book I've read.
I laughed
this year.
so much. Every second I comic. So my second favorite book for the year is also a Marvel book, and it is by Ryan North, writer of Adventure Time, and not Adventure Time, the Adventure Time comics, and with art by Erica Henderson, who also did the art on Jughead, which I said already loved. It is called The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl! Yay! This is such a fun comic. It's about Doreen Green, who is the unbeatable squirrel girl. She goes to computer science college and also is a superhero with the power of squirrel. She can control squirrels and talk to squirrels, and she has a best friend that's a squirrel. Squirrel! Her best friend's got tippy toe, as a little girl squirrel, but I thought it was a little boy squirrel. Her best friend enjoys knitting, and she has friends called Koi Boy and Squirrel Guy, and they fight crime.
Fanning out.
And it's really fun. And for Christmas, Liam got me the first appearance of Squirrel Girl in a comic book, and I really like Squirrel Girl. It's really fun. And if you enjoy bright colours and solving problems with friendship, then Squirrel Girl is for you.
Now, my favorite comic of the year came out the start of the year, so everyone forgot about it. But it was just, it was incredible. It's by Scott McCloud, and it's The Sculptor. I absolutely adored this book. I knew nothing about Scott McCloud. He wrote Zolt, and also...
We didn't know that. When we did the pause video, everyone's like, oh, he's already done a book, because we said in that he hadn't done one before. So we look like
he's never written a comic before, and he just comes out with this trade.
With this amazing book!
Oh my god! So he came out with this, and I think this is an absolute masterpiece. I think it's going to be on a lot of lists for the best comics of the year. It is about David Smith, who's a sculptor, who... like all artists know, there's a certain anxiety that comes along with creating. And it's all about achieving these goals, and it's all about feeling like there's a hole inside you that you were never able to fill, and he just captures these feelings perfectly. And there are elements of life and death, and also love in there, and where it goes, like, it begins off as very kind of down-to-earth tale, and then it just spirals into the supernatural, and then at the end, it just becomes this crazy story that really can only be told in comic book form.
He was so excited for this book. He just kept... I didn't have time to read something.
I was hounding you about it.
For like a month, and I ended up reading it and just losing myself in it. I was a mess by the end of it.
And she spilled coffee all over it, by the way. I hold some responsibility to this because I forced it on you.
At least
but it was funny. Every time there was a spare moment where she'd just be sitting there like an episode of a TV show would finish, or she'd finish writing a review, it would just be like, who cares? Who cares? Have you read Scotia? Have you read Scotia?
I read it. So now it's time to announce the big banana. Ow! Oh, the big banana in the sky. Oh, pew pew. Wow, big banana. So my favorite comic of the year is called Wobble Oaf. Not lovable, Wobble Oaf. It is by a guy called Ed Lucy from the US. It is an enormous Fantagraphics book. It is about the bear culture and a lifestyle. This is Wobble Oaf. He is very in love with the lead singer of a hardcore band. He's a very sassy little man that he's in love with, and he wants to win that man's heart. In his spare time, Wobble Oaf enjoys making plush toys made from his chest hair that are so soft and lovely. He also attends many concerts and goes on many terrible dates. And if you say you don't like Morrissey, he will leave the date. There was a picture of Jeffrey Brown randomly
in
the
bar scene.
In the bar scene, and Jeffrey Brown's my favorite writer ever, and I just flipped out. It's just so much fun and such. I don't know, I've never seen characters like this before, and I just enjoyed every moment. They enjoy booty dancing, they enjoy partying, and Wobble Oaf is such a delightful character, this huge, burly, furry man that just works out at the gym in short shorts, saves cats at a cat orphanage, and goes on dates. I would definitely recommend this. It is just a delight to read, and I'm so glad that it exists. And one day I hope to meet the real Wobble Oaf. If he's out there, hello.
Yeah, so that was the big banana in the sky.
That's my big banana in the sky. It's Wobble Oaf. Pick it up. It's quite expensive because it's huge, but you'll want to read it. Trust me.
Am I allowed to eat this?
You can eat the banana.
Okay.
It's over.
Do you know what annoys me? A lot of people don't know how to eat a banana. Okay, so a lot of people grab it from up here. But that's not how you eat a banana. It's okay. The opposite side, that is a little handle. All you have to do is pinch the top. Just pinch.
Please let us know in the comments down below what your favorite comic of the year was, your biggest disappointment, your favorite miniseries. We would love to know. Let's have a huge discussion down below. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say. William's gonna eat his banana, and we will catch you a little bit later this week. Bye!